So, as you may have read from the title, I've meditated for about 1,400 minutes. That's guided, tracked minutes of meditation, so it's probably around 1,500 of just like when I can't connect to the app I use, or just like the attempts of building this as a habit before I got the app that I use now, which is Waking Up by Sam Harris. I'm here at a very meditative location, Shore Acres State Park on the Oregon coast. Let's get somewhere quieter where we can't hear all these beautiful waves crashing and banging, and I will share a bit more about what I have learned. If you're newer in general to the channel, my name's Josh. I moved back with my parents like 6 months ago to pay off my student loans as I attempt entrepreneurship, and my videos are kind of just about how I'm trying to make my life as good as possible through self-knowledge, an actionable plan, and just incorporating all the things I like in my life as much as possible. If you're into that, hop along for the ride, give us a subscribe. We're headed to the garden, where I haven't been in a while. This state park has like these massive waves that are crashing on these huge jagged cliffs, which is what we were at earlier. And there's also this awesome garden. Not a bad spot to get cerebral. So about 2 years ago, I would say, is when I first recognized meditation as a habit worth cultivating and like worth putting effort towards. And my first efforts towards it were the Headspace app. I think that's the main one in the space that a lot of people know, that the most people know. I stuck with that one for a bit, maybe 3 or 4 times a week for a couple months, but it never stuck. And when I found the Waking Up app by Sam Harris, which was about a year ago, was when I was able to consistently stick with the habit of meditation. And since getting that app and doing that guided introductory course, I haven't missed more than maybe 3 or 4 days in the year that I've had it. So if you've maybe found meditation is not sticking, or just certain ways of doing it haven't worked, I would definitely suggest trying that app. I've got a link in the description that will give you a free month of the app. And between you and me, if you email them and say that you can't afford it, they'll give it to you for free anyway. So that's what I do. So the biggest thing that I've learned, I think, from meditating, and hopefully this comes across in the title and nature of this video, that I don't claim to be an expert. I've done it for as long as I've said I've done it, about 1,500 minutes. So a few hours. This is what I've noticed so far. If you've ever heard the expression in sports, or maybe they use it other places, but the game has slowed down for me, I think I would say, is a good way of summarizing it. I can kind of notice things in my head as they arise, or notice feelings before they arise based on patterns of how those feelings tend to arise, or in what situations I tend to feel certain ways. I'm able to just kind of notice things like from the control room up in my consciousness, I guess. And Sam Harris talks about this in his book, Waking Up. When you're able to notice the way the game is being played, it allows you to play it differently. So something that I believe is a strong takeaway from meditation for me so far is that we're all trying to set goals or acquire certain things in our lives to get to a certain place where we believe when we're at that place we can sit down and rest and be good in the present, and acknowledging that that's the strategy we're taking on life allows us to take a different strategy, I guess. So instead of getting caught chasing a future present, It's been a lot easier to rest and be good in the present, I think, for me. I'm able to get off the ride of emotions a lot quicker, I think. The metaphor that I use when I explain it and pitch meditation to my friends is that instead of being washed away by the stream of feelings and thoughts and emotions, you're able to sit steady and let the stream wash over you and pass you. And you're able to observe things as they pass by. And you're able to see feelings rise up and go away. And when you recognize that you're aware of a feeling happening, it's a lot easier to be disconnected from it and know that, like, I am not this feeling. This is just an appearance in consciousness. And the more and more I've meditated, the more and more I'm able to catch myself in everyday life in those situations. It doesn't happen automatically. Sometimes you have to, like, remind yourself to take a moment and be mindful and recognize that you're thinking. But the more I've done it, the more it just kind of happens, and I recognize that all the senses, sights, and thoughts are just an appearance, and that's what I'm witnessing in consciousness. I think being able to notice feelings rather than acting on them or being carried away by them is a huge skill, I think. It's definitely a skill. It's definitely something I notice when people, I notice people that can't do that, or I notice people washed up, being taken on the stream. It's like, it's like you're in the river right now. Like, just notice that and step off the ride, you know? And I'm not saying that obviously that happens to me too a lot, but yeah, since meditation, the game has slowed down. I'm able to see it coming more. Another thing Sam Harris said in his book that relates to this point well is that when the game slows down and you're able to, like, witness thoughts come up in certain situations, you're able to play life like a video game. You're able to think more intelligently about situations and learn from the past and learn from your feelings and the appearances you see in consciousness, rather than being killed in the same place by the same monster over and over again. And I think that was, like, a really brilliant way of putting that feeling, what the feeling is, to be aware of your mind. And I think one of the tougher things to grasp that like Buddhism and this type of meditation wants you to get is the realization that the self or the ego is an illusion. And it's like a scary thing to talk about, I guess, is that, and maybe, like, you don't think this is true, but it's something that is hard to explain, but is a realization that you eventually kind of have in meditation. And that's that, like, you know, if you can recognize like sounds and sights and eventually thoughts as just appearances in consciousness that you can't control, that you're merely behind the screen witnessing happen, then everything must be that. Everything must just be an appearance in consciousness, even the feeling of being you at all. And that's a thought that has made itself a lot more present to me all the time, is that all you can really have is a total collision with the present moment. And when you take a step back and recognize that, and it only takes a split second to recognize it, and a lot of times it's only a split second that feeling even stays there before your ego and yourself talks to you again and reminds you of the feeling that you're you in your body, living life as you. But when you boil it down to just the present moment, like, there is nothing but the present moment. I don't know if that explains it well, but that's a thing about meditation I think I've had trouble explaining to people that haven't done it or don't get it. Something that I think people can get caught up in is chasing peak experiences, or life would be the best if I was feeling this way all the time, or you've felt the highest highs, you've felt the lowest lows. If you're capable of feeling those, the best feelings you've ever felt in your highest moments, that's still the same consciousness that you have with you all the time. So there must be something about regular everyday feelings, regular thoughts, regular sights, and normal consciousness that also has that, because it's all the same space, realizing that and stepping back and appreciating that about every moment that you have is maybe the biggest thing that is a benefit that I've found so far of meditation, like finding the good in every moment, because the present moment is all there is. I think it helps me a lot to put positive spins on life and situations in general, thinking about things that way. You know, instead of this thing that I have to go do being a big inconvenience or taking me out of what I want to be doing, it's just part of the experience, you know? It's just a thing that I have to go do, so I might as well enjoy it. And that's really kind of generalizing a bunch of specific situations where you kind of realize you're having this feeling, but that's what it is. It's seeing the good and stuff, because why not? It's made life just more enjoyable all the time. I think that kind of sums up what I wanted to say. That's where it is. That's where I am so far, I guess. I'm going to keep meditating. I'll keep, I guess, if you want to see more videos like this, my 2,000 minute update, I guess I could make maybe, if I feel like it. But yeah, I'm going to keep meditating. I think you should meditate. You should click the link in the description for a free month of the Waking Up app. Yeah, it definitely has helped to be introduced in a guided fashion to meditation. I've been able to get the most out of it that way. I've been able to feel like I'm not failing at it, which a lot of people when they first start out think like, oh, I can't seem to calm down. I can't seem to turn off my mind. But like, that's not the point. The point is to notice your mind. So, yeah, thanks for checking it out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for enjoying nature with me. And I'll see you guys in the next video.